Hey folks, Anthony Speciale here with Hawkeye Traders. Welcome to the video. Looking forward to having a quick conversation with you about Apple. Want to talk about a little bit of a price to volume divergence that I'm noticing here. All right, I want to talk about what it may potentially lead to, and then kind of dive in from there because I think this is pretty important. I think this is pretty notable. I'm not making any bold predictions here, okay? I'm just simply making an observation. An observation because I understand this unique relationship that transpires between volume and price action. And if you don't understand that as clearly as you probably should, we're going to talk about it in this video. I'm going to invite you to a training webinar. I'd like to dive deeper into this concept. I'd like to give you access to the Hawkeye Volume Indicator. I'd like to give you access to our Hawkeye Volume Mastery series. I'd like to put the keys to the castle in your hand so that you can now take the next step in your trading career. Believe it or not, this is the most overlooked step because every trader is looking for something or someone to do it for them, okay? The reality is you are the trader. You need to be the one that has unique knowledge. That is the one that's going to afford you essentially the opportunity to either be profitable or not. My goal and our goal here at Hawkeye Traders is to help you become a consistently disciplined, profitable trader. Okay? Now, of course, you have to do your part as well, but it doesn't take away the value of understanding that key relationship between volume and price action. So what we're looking at here is a chart of Apple, okay? This is a daily chart on the NASDAQ exchange. I'm going to zoom in, and I want you to take a very specific look at the last candle that closed here, okay? Why do I think this is important? All right, so take a look at that candle, okay? We finished with notably high, selling volume, okay? But we didn't make a new low. So now take a look at the candle prior to it. Okay? So less volume, more significant candle, right? That's a full-bodied, open at the high, close in the bottom probably 15 percentile, right? Whereas the next candle, we see this surge in selling volume, but really failure to make a new low. So what's a key area for me? All right, I like closing prices. Okay, that's just a technique that I've used throughout my career. Okay, some people like to use the wicks. I like to acknowledge both of them. So that area right there, price has not been able to successfully close below. Okay, and if I include the wicks here as well, you can see that we have some range here of support, right? You notice the low here, we get a Hawkeye pivot. Price pushes back up, and then we get this strong climb in volume, but really no advancement to the downside. So that concerns me a little bit. Why? So what I would be looking at very specifically if I was a trader of Apple, whether I traded the stock itself or I was an options trader, whether I bought or sold, either way, what I would be very specifically looking at is what happens over the next couple days. Because this may very well turn into a key support area. And what else leads me to believe this area may be a very key support area? We have back-to-back wide bars, okay? So we got strong buying here, right? And we have a super strong selling candle here. Notice kind of where we're bouncing off of, right? Is volume and price action to some degree starting to tell some type of story? Perhaps, okay? Can we fall through here? Possibly. Then we have this low here to contend with. So if we were to push below the low of this candle or below the close of these bodies, we would probably then retest the high of this wide bar, the low of this candle here before price rallied higher. Now, could we also find support here? Could this be a selling climax candle in a key area of support, and could we potentially go higher? That's also a possibility, all right? So then where would we probably, start to look to? Probably somewhere up in this range as potential resistance, all right? Somewhere in that neighborhood, okay? But what's happening here is an increase in sellers and lack of advancement through support. That shows me that the buyers, right, are absorbing the sellers, and the sellers are being unsuccessful in making a new low. If I see a strong increase in selling, I want to see a new low placed. Okay? If I don't see that, I now need to start to be concerned about a potential reversal. Now again, we just covered a whole bunch of key areas here on this chart, but the divergence here is significantly increased selling, lack of a new low being placed. So I want you to keep a close eye on Apple over the next couple days and see how this plays out, okay? If this is in fact a selling climax that failed to push through support, it is very possible that we could kind of push higher back here. How high, we'll see, but I would probably say somewhere between where I have marked off currently and maybe even this range. So the 230 to 233 level, okay? We'll see. But if we're unsuccessful in pushing through this low, this would confirm a volume climax had occurred here, the attempt to push through support, and it fails, right? So what I'd like to do is invite you to that training webinar I mentioned a little bit earlier in the video. I'd like you to come into this webinar. I'd like to dive deeper into these concepts of understanding volume and price action. Where, when, how, why do these key things transpire, right? Notice this high placed here, right? This candle closed lower than it opened. Notice you had a slight increase in buying, and then the market fell apart. So all I'm saying is we may be seeing a potential turning point here. And the way to identify these with high probability is by understanding the relationship between volume and price action. So inside this training webinar, I'm going to talk about stocks. I'm going to talk about futures. I'm going to talk about Forex. I'm going to talk about cryptocurrencies. I'm going to talk about options. Why? Because the relationship that transpires between volume and price action is congruent across all assets. We're going to talk about day trading. We're going to talk about scalping. We're going to talk about swing trading. We're going to talk about position trading. Why? Because all these concepts are congruent across all those time frames. So I'm going to place a link below this video. I invite you to click on it. Join me. Let me dive a little deeper into these concepts. Let me allow you access to the Hawkeye volume indicators. We're going to populate them up on your charting platform. They work on TradeStation, TradingView, NinjaTrader, and MetaTrader. Like I said, you could trade all those asset classes. You could trade all those time frames that I just discussed. All right. We're also going to give you access to the Hawkeye Volume Mastery Series. Why am I going to do this? Because I need you at your own pace to continue to develop into these deeper concepts. All right. Because you're going to be able to look at any chart on any time frame, and with a great deal of accuracy, start to be able to see the relationship that's transpiring between volume and price action. Before you know it, you'll be removing all your lagging indicators and just focusing on what matters. So I will see you guys in the training webinar. God bless. Thank you so much for being here in this video. I look forward to helping you through that training webinar, getting these indicators populated, giving you access to the Hawkeye Volume Mastery Series, and seeing you succeed through the methodology of genuinely and truly what moves the market, volume and price action. I'll see you guys there.